Hi guys, it's Daniela again and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I decided that I would test some new makeup products. So I've had this makeup in a little basket ready for me to try out on camera with you guys, and I just haven't. So today is the day I do that. So I really hope you enjoy this video and let's get started. Back, coffee, let's get started. So for today's video I don't have a new foundation, but I am going to use the CYO Life Proof Long Lasting Foundation. So I believe I've used this foundation around 3, maybe 4 times, but I am just going to keep testing it, of course. So I'm going to go in with my foundation first. I'm going to use a brush first and then I'll go over it with my beauty blender. I really like the finish of this foundation. So now for concealer, I've got a new concealer, and this is at the moment like very hyped up and everyone's talking about it. So the concealer is called the 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and if I'm not mistaken this cost me £5 and I did buy it in Superdrugs. So the description for this concealer is that it's got satin finish, medium coverage, blurs the appearance of imperfections for flawless natural looking coverage. As you can see from this shade range, the shade range is trash. They don't cater to darker skin tones. Their darkest shade is this one here from what I can see online, and yeah, so shade range is trash. They need to improve on that by a lot. The colour I've got is Fair Warm, and I do think that this is going to be way too light for me. I did want to go with light beige or 2 above this colour, but the undertone was like proper pink and peach, and like that's just not my undertone. So for me to get like a yellow undertone, I had to go pretty light. So the undertones don't seem right either. So it comes in like this little packaging, looks like this. It's plastic and it's got a big doe foot applicator like the Tarte one. So I had to go off camera just because the sun was like really in my eyes and it was hurting. And at that same time I did my brows just to save time because I don't have anything new for my brows. So let's go in with this e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. That's way too light. Oh wow, way too light. I'm going to blend this part out with a beauty blender. It's got pretty good coverage. It seems to dry quickly as well. It's a very matte concealer as well. I'm just going to put some down the rest of my face just to kind of like tie it all together so I don't just have like really stark white under eyes. It blended really quickly and I don't see any like problem with blending it out with a beauty blender. It seems pretty full coverage if I'm honest. So far I'm not mad at this concealer at all. It has started to crease, but most concealers do that. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more on this eye and see if it builds up, and if it does I'll put some on the other eye as well. I don't know whether it's because it's so light for me that I feel like it's even more full coverage, if that makes any sense. So now that I've built it up, I can definitely tell that it's full coverage. Oh, and it oxidizes. I don't know if you'll be able to see because of the sun, but this eye is a lot brighter than this eye. So thank God for me, because this was way too light. One thing I did notice is that it goes pretty far, like you don't need a lot. So now I'm going to set my under eyes with the RCMA No Colour Powder. Obviously it is a matte concealer, so you don't actually have to set it. But I just want to set it just because of creasing, and I usually set my under eyes anyways. So far I actually like it. It doesn't look bad. It does look the tiniest bit dry under there, but my skin at the moment, as like I've said in like the last 4 videos, is super dry at the moment. So that could be it. So the next product is the Bourjois Healthy Mix Sorbet Blush in Apricot. So I've wanted to try liquid blush for a while now, and I was really hoping to get my hands on the Flower Beauty one, but they're not in the UK yet, so I thought I would get this and see how it works. So it is like an orange. They only had 2 colours. They had this and a pink one, and I thought I'd rather go for the orange than the pink. And this is what it looks like. So the consistency I'd say is pretty kind of thick. It's not very watery, so I'm going to go in with a beauty blender first and see how that looks. Am I going crazy? I can't see anything. I went in with 1 drop and I can't really see anything. I'm going to go in with a bit extra. It's really like subtle. Yeah, I should have done this before I put powder on, because now I can see like the line between the powder and the... Oh, great. So definitely do this before you powder your under eyes. So I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera, but like, can you see this line here? So this is where I powdered, and I shouldn't have powdered first. I don't know why I'm going that high with my blush anyways. So I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this is actually picking up a lot of my foundation, like here. So I'm going to go in with a brush and see how that works. This is like really strange. It's like really thin. I feel like with a brush you can actually see the colour more. I don't know if I'm tripping. This is not a good first impressions. Okay, with a brush I would say it's probably better. I look crazy. So now for bronzer, I do have a new product. This is the Milani Baked Bronzer in Dolce 09. And I'm just going to put this on my skin. This is probably the wrong brush. Yep, wrong brush. I'm going to go in with this brush from Wet n Wild. So the bronzer looks nice. I like the formula. It's got a little bit of like shimmer in there. The colour I think might be a little bit more orange than I like. So now I want to set this a little bit just to make the powders kind of settle into my skin. So I'm going to use my new Too Faced Festival Refresher. So it looks like this. This I bought from TK Maxx and this was £8. You do have to shake this up. I think there are shimmers in there. Yep, there are. And it's got like a really nice like colour. It is very like childish, the whole packaging, the whole unicorn. But let's see how it works. That smells really good. That smells like orange. That smells really similar to this. I forgot to mention that this does actually have like a sorbet orange kind of scent to it, and it's called sorbet blush, but this also has that kind of scent. So the mist does look quite good, so let's see what it looks like on my face. Oh, it's a really fine mist. It seems to be like making the powders just sit on my skin better. Now for the eyes, I really don't want to do anything too much, but I do have a new palette that I've got. I got this for Christmas, but I have had this palette before, but it was so long ago I can't remember what I think about it. And I feel like this was like one of the first palettes I bought when I was doing my Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the Makeup Revolution Flawless palette, and it looks like this. So to me this is leaning more towards like cool toned, neutral kind of vibes. There's not a lot of warmness in this palette at all. So there's no warm toned crease colour for me. So I'm actually going to go in with my bronzer just so I can have some warmth in my eye. I don't really like using like cool toned transition shades. So I'm actually going to go in with this colour here and just take that and put that into my crease as well. Yeah, that is pretty cool toned. I'm so not used to cool tones on me, and I don't think they suit me either. That colour seems pretty pigmented and it blended really easily. So now I'm going to go in with this colour here and just take this on my outer V. The colour definitely like blends away when you blend it out. Like it kind of just blends to nothing. See, I don't know if you can tell, like I'm blending it and it's just kind of like blending away. And now I'm going to go in with the PS Liquid Glitter Eyeshadow, and this doesn't have like a shade name. It just looks like this. So I'm going to go in with this and I'm going to go onto my lid with it and kind of like cut my lid without actually using concealer. Okay, very like sparkly. So it doesn't actually have like much of a colour base compared to like the Stila ones. It's just more like actual glitter. It does look quite nice though, and it wasn't expensive at all. It's Primark. I think it was like £2. So while that's drying, I'm going to go in with this colour on the outer V and just clean it up a little bit. This is a pretty wearable, simple look. The more I look at it, the more I kind of like this look. I really was just like, what am I going to do with like a cool tone palette? So it seems to be drying pretty nicely. Let's see how well it builds up. Seems to build up pretty well, and it does get more like pigmented when you build it up. I'm really surprised by this. I really didn't think that this was going to perform as well as it is. There's not much fallout, even with that glitter. there's not a lot of fallout at all. So the eyes are done. They're really simple, nothing major. From this palette, I've only used 2 shades, so I'm going to try it again and see how I feel. So for my lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this colour here. I feel like I'm going to blow this out a little bit and make it just a little bit more smoky. So just letting you know, the concealer has definitely creased, even though I set my under eye. So I'm going to drag this colour down quite a lot just to kind of hide my creases. So now for my eyes, I actually want to go in with this colour here, this shimmer, and take this on my lower lash line and see how that looks. So I've done my under eye, and I actually really like the kind of hint of green. I didn't at first, but I do like it now. So I'm looking at the palette and I don't know what colour to pick. I might go in with this one here and put that in my inner corner. It is like a yellow gold. So let's see how this looks. And I am bringing this colour all the way down here. So now for lips, the only colours that I have that are new are these 3 here. So 2 are Jeffree Star and 1 is Morphe. The Morphe one is called Hot Shot. This one is Anna Nicole, and then I've got the Jeffree Star Mannequin, and I feel like Mannequin's the only one that would kind of look right with this, just because it's like a nude. So I am going to line my lips, and I'm going to use the NYX Brown Coffee lip liner. And then I'm kind of like blending it into my lip. Wow, this is not a look. So now I'm going to go in with the Jeffree Star liquid lipstick in Mannequin, and I really hope this looks good. So now what I'm going to do is go off camera, do my mascara, add a little bit of highlight, and then I'll come back to talk to you about my final thoughts on all the products I used. Okay guys, so I'm back. So as you can see, I did my mascara and I also added some highlight. Now let's talk about my final thoughts on the products that I used. Okay, so this, I really like the mist. I like the smell, but don't use a lot of it like I just did. I now have like a hue of purple iridescence on my skin. I don't know if you would be able to tell, but like my cheeks, my chin and my forehead are like purplish pink. But I don't know whether I actually shook this up before I used it. I have a feeling I didn't. So from just using it today, I feel like you have to shake this up before every time you use it. So the second product is the e.l.f. concealer. So I touched upon that the colour is way too light for me, but it did oxidize, but it didn't oxidize enough for how light it is on my skin. The concealer did crease, as I said earlier. It does look a little bit dry under there. I like the coverage. The coverage is pretty good. I would say like full coverage, but I would never wear this concealer on its own just because of how light it is for my complexion. So next product is the bronzer. I actually really like the bronzer. I do feel like it possibly could be a little bit too orange on me, but I actually like the finish. It's very like glowy and not matte. So the next product is this is the liquid blusher. I really like the color and I like the consistency. It's more like a tinted blush. It's not super pigmented, it's more sheer. So the consistency seems quite thick when you actually put it on your hand, but once you put your beauty blender on it or your brush, it really does sheer out, and I really like that. I would definitely not put this over powder. Do not set your face first. I feel like a brush is probably the best way to work with this, and it actually sets. It's not one that like stays tacky. It actually did set. So the next product is the PS liquid glitter. I actually really like this. I like the fact that it is very glittery and shimmery. It doesn't have too much of a strong base. I feel like this can go over like a lot of bases, like a black or a white or like a pink, and it would look quite different on all of them because it hasn't got that strong base like the Stila ones. So I really like that, and it's really cheap, so I might actually go and pick up some more. So the next thing is the palette. The palette's fine. It's okay, like the mattes were okay. I do feel like they got a little bit patchy and just kind of blended to nothing. It's okay. It's not one that I'm going to reach for all the time because it is pretty cool toned, but it's always good to have like a variety of tones in your collection. So the last thing is the Jeffree Star Mannequin liquid lipstick. I do actually really like the colour. I do like Jeffree Star's formulas, and yeah, I like the colour and I'm happy I got it. So those are my thoughts on the makeup that I tested today. Obviously you will see probably a lot of these coming up in like new videos just because I will be testing it all out. So yeah guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to give me a thumbs up, some comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.